Hey everyone, and welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm Crystal Kennedy, and this is the show where we bring you the day's biggest movie news, and of course we give you insight into what it all means. Joining me, as always, is AMC Movie News Senior Editor, Mr. John Campia.
Good morning, Crystal Lee. Greetings and salutations, everybody. It's kind of a low-key show today. A bunch of our staff are out and about doing other things today, so it's just Crystal Lee and I today. How you doing, Crystal Lee?
I'm doing good, John. Are you ready to get into some news?
I am absolutely ready. Let's get started.
All right. As most of you know, the James Bond Skyfall director, Sam Mendes, turned down an offer to direct the next Bond installment, currently just called Bond 24. Mendes had a prior stage show commitment in London and wouldn't be ready to shoot as early as the Bond producers wanted to. The producers met with several potential directors, including Drive's Nicholas Winding Refn and Ang Lee. However, there is now a report circulating that Mendes may have reconsidered. Deadline reports that Mendes recently got back in touch with Broccoli and Wilson, and the filmmaker subsequently changed his tune and is now in talks to direct the 24th James Bond film. Apparently, the producers have agreed to wait until Mendes has completed his stage commitments before moving forward with Bond 24, which is in keeping with the hoped for 2016 release date. John, would this be good news for the Bond franchise if Mendes returned for Bond 24?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, despite the fact that you have some amazing powerhouse names on that list, Ang Lee, Refn. There were even talks about them wanting to talk to Christopher Nolan about taking over Bond. But for consistency's sake, I love the idea of going back to Mendes. Look, Skyfall was really, really great. I don't necessarily consider it, as many people do, as the greatest Bond film of all time. I know it's certainly the most successful James Bond film of all time, but it was really great nonetheless. And if they could carry that tone into the next Bond film, Bond 24, that's great. Now, it is unfortunate, really unfortunate, that we're going to have to wait another 3 years to get the film, especially, you know, coming off of such a huge success like Skyfall was. So that's really too bad. However, if you can get the same guy and keep him and do all that kind of stuff, that's great. Would Ang Lee have worked? Of course Ang Lee would have worked. Would Christopher Nolan have worked? Of course Christopher Nolan would have worked. I'm not really sure about Refn. I don't know if his tone fits a James Bond tone. Once again, this is just a matter of fit, and I don't think that's necessarily a good fit. But yeah, if you can get Mendes, by all means, you go back to Mendes.
And Skyfall was great, but I agree. I hate that we have to wait so long for another one.
Yeah, too long.
For years now, film fans have been anxiously awaiting a live version AKIRA movie based on the classic Asian animated film. There was movement back in 2001 with actors like Kristen Stewart, Gary Oldman, and Helena Bonham Carter, close to signing on to appear in the film, but the movie was then halted and put back into development. In a recent interview with our friends over at Collider, screenwriter Gary Whitta revealed where his script was going to set the movie. He claimed that the movie would be set in the USA on Manhattan Island, but that in this reality, Manhattan Island had been purchased by Japan and was officially a Japanese territory. This would have allowed them to have a fusion of Japanese and American cultures in the film. John, do you think this would have been a good way to go for a live-action AKIRA movie?
Oddly enough, yes. Look, here's the problem, okay, that any AKIRA film is going to face. No studio wants to put $100 million or $150 million or probably $200 million once you figure like marketing and everything into a film that is all names and faces nobody in the North American audience recognizes. In other words, they don't want an all-Japanese cast because they don't know that they could recoup the money that they would need to do that. They want a westernized version. But hardcore fans of AKIRA, much like the Dragon Ball, remember that Dragon Ball movie and how upset everybody was that it was all like these white pasty Caucasian people? And you would get that times 1,000 if you had, and I think the writer mentioned, he goes, imagine if we had Shia LaBeouf in there. You know, it just wouldn't work for a lot of people. So I think this idea of a compromise, okay, let's put it in America. But let's say the island of Manhattan was purchased by Japan and now is officially a Japanese territory, so you can have this fusion of American and Japanese cultures living in there, and we can put in some bigger name stars that we'd want, blah, blah, blah. I think it's really interesting, and oddly enough, even though I give the hardcore genre fans a hard time sometimes, I think even the hardcore fans would acknowledge that, yeah, we have to westernize this a bit to make it financially viable, but I think they would think this is a good compromise. So yeah, for me, I completely see this as something that could work. Unfortunately, it's not going to work. I mean, Akira's on the shelf again. This is a really difficult movie to make. All you got to do, just watch the film. If you haven't seen the animated version of Akira, just watch it once, and you'll completely shake your head about how on earth do you turn this into a live-action film. So the studio's being very cautious with it. They're taking a lot of time with it. I think it probably won't be till like 2016, 2017, 2018 until we actually do finally see, an Akira movie.
The fusion sounds really interesting. It's sad that it's going to take so long for us to actually visualize it.
Yeah. All right, folks, we've come to that part of the show for Buy or Sell. Here's how this works. In front of her, Chris Lee has a few other items in the world of movie news. She's going to list them off, and I'm simply going to say whether I buy it or sell it. So, Chris Lee, what do we got?
As we reported yesterday on AMC Movie Talk, actor Tom Cruise has left the production of The Man from U.N.C.L.E. due to his commitments to Mission Impossible 5. Cruise was going to star alongside Lone Ranger star Armie Hammer. Now there are reports that Warner Bros. Is looking at Henry Cavill, the new Superman, and the upcoming Man of Steel to replace him. John, buy or sell Henry Cavill and The Man from U.N.C.L.E.?
I'm going to buy this. Henry Cavill, his name is really hot, but here's what excites me about this. If Warner Brothers is looking at taking Cavill right now and putting him in a very high-profile project like A Man from U.N.C.L.E., that means Warner Brothers has a lot of confidence in Man of Steel, and they like what he did in Man of Steel. And they think the audiences are going to like it, and so they want to put his name in that. To me, that just exudes confidence, and I love it when I see a studio having confidence in their own film, like Man of Steel, my number one most anticipated film of the year. Cavill is a great actor. He's been solid in everything he's in. Even like a mediocre film like Immortals, I think he stood out as being really good. So yeah, for me, this is absolutely a buy.
It's definitely a buy. More Henry Cavill in our lives. Actor Josh Brolin has reportedly joining the cast of Paul Thomas Anderson's new film Inherent Vice. Brolin joins the likes of Joaquin Phoenix, Benicio del Toro, Owen Wilson, Reese Witherspoon, Jenna Malone, and Martin Short. John, buy or sell Brolin joining Inherent Vice?
I'm going to sell this for now. I don't really know that Brolin... Brolin for me is a guy who's hit and miss. There are some movies he's in where I'm like, how on earth did he not win an Oscar for this? And then there are some movies he's in, like that recent mobster movie who was just with Sean Penn, where I thought, oh my gosh, like could he be more wooden? So the guy can be genius when he's on his A game. He's much like Heath Ledger that way. When Heath Ledger was really on, like he was with, Batman, he's amazing. But there are just a number of movies that he's not always on. So, I mean, he's hit and miss. So for that reason alone, for now, I got to sell it.
But Inherent Vice sounds amazing.
It does indeed.
Star of the TV show Community, Joel McHale, is in talks to join the supernatural thriller Beware the Night. McHale would reportedly be playing a tough, experienced cop whose partner is Eric Bana, who is being hunted by Satan. John, buy or sell McHale in Beware of the Night?
Gotta hate it when you're being hunted by Satan. I gotta sell this. Look, I've got no problem with Joel McHale. I'm not a big fan of Community. I don't watch a lot, but he's perfectly good on it. But I've seen him try a couple of serious things, and I've never really bought him in it. I just see the clown. I just see the jokester when I look at him in that. I mean, he even did this one thing. I believe it was Sons of Anarchy, wasn't it, McHale? In
Yes.
Sons of Anarchy, who was after the guy's mom. And
Yes.
it was, I just didn't buy him in that. I couldn't see him in that. I wasn't able to wrap my head around him in any kind of a dramatic piece. Now, look, that's more my fault than his. But for those reasons and others, for me, it's got to be a sell.
I agree. Joel McHale, even in Sons of Anarchy, he still had to throw in his jokes because that's what you know him for. So
Yeah.
It was hard to see him transition.
Agreed.
Transformers 4 is already shooting, and director Michael Bay has just released several new photos showing off some new vehicles as well as a new updated design for Optimus Prime. In the pictures, we first see a $2.4 million Bugatti Grand Sport Vitesse, a 16-cylinder engine with quad turbochargers pumping out 1,200 horsepower. That sounds amazing. We don't yet know which Autobot this will be. Next is a Chevrolet C7 Corvette Stingray, based on the company's 2014 model, which we believe will once again be the Autobot Sideswipe. Lastly, we see this new updated design for Optimus Prime. John, buy or sell these new Autobot vehicles?
I buy them. These look awesome. I mean, it's become something like a Fast and the Furious thing where A lot of people, when there are new Transformers movies, I never would have thought of this. I'm not a big cars guy myself, but a lot of people start talking about what vehicles are they going to use, what cars, what new sports vehicles, and these things look amazing. And I'm one of the few guys who I always liked the new design of Optimus Prime. I liked how they adapted him for the movies, and I've always liked the look. I know a lot of people didn't, a lot of the purists who really resisted it, but you got to, when making a movie, you got to ignore the purists. And I kind of liked it. That doesn't mean everybody had to like it. It's just that me personally, I did. So yeah, you can put me on board for these new vehicle designs. All right, folks, we've come to that part of the show for Mailbag. If you've got a topic or a question you'd like us to address on the show, you can email us anytime at amcmovietalk@gmail.com. We get lots of emails from you guys. Every single day we pull a few out. And listen, we've even got another show on the AMC Movie News YouTube channel called AMC Mailbag that is all just answering mailbag questions. So if you send in a question and you don't see it here on AMC Movie Talk, check out AMC Mailbag. It might be over there. So right now, Chrisley's got a bunch of questions pulled out. She's going to list them off, and let's see what you got. Chrisley, what do we have?
Alberto Macius, or Superman, writes, "Hey, John, love your show. I'm a big fan of the robot movies. I know that a live-action movie of Voltron, Defender of the Universe, is coming out in 2014 by the studio Relativity Media. I would like to know if you have any more info on the movie and if you think it will be a good movie. All the other Voltron fans and I are happy that finally a live-action movie is coming. Are you happy about it?"
Well, I'd hate to be a killjoy, but don't bet your house on the idea that there's going to be a Voltron movie in 2014. Now, back in 2002, there was a long rights battle going on to get the rights to do Voltron. And, you know, one company thought they owned the rights and they found out another company hadn't actually sold the movie rights, and then they had to make a deal. So back in, I believe, 2012, I can't remember the exact name of the company. I think it's like World Entertainment or something. Said, okay, yes, we've now finalized it. We've got the rights. We're making a Voltron movie. Look for it. We're going to have it in theaters by 2014. Okay, great. Well, we're now halfway through 2013. There's been absolutely no movement on it. There is no director. There is no, as far as I know, there's no script. There's no cast. There was a rumor that girl from Vampire Diaries, a Canadian girl, I should know her name because she's a good Canadian girl, Nina Dobrev, I think you say,
Yes.
how you pronounce her name. She was rumored to be in it, but that has never been confirmed or anything like that. And like I said, there's been no movement. So a high visual effects movie like Voltron in a year from now, when they don't have a director, cast, anything, I think it's a next to impossibility. Now, if they were able to get it done, I'd be first in line to see it. Obviously, I'm a huge sci-fi guy. I love giant robots beating the crap out of stuff. I don't know if Pacific Rim is what put the brakes on this thing, that people are fearing that it'll look like a ripoff. But yeah, do Voltron, let me see it. But I hate breaking it to you, I just don't think we're going to see it happen in 2014. There's just not enough time. I don't see any way it can possibly happen.
Which is sad because we all need more robots in our lives.
Yes, we need more.
Josh Thomas writes, "Hey guys and gals, love the show. Keep up the good work. I loved the film Real Steel and was wondering if you have heard any news of there being a sequel because I would love to see one. Your thoughts?"
Yeah, Real Steel was one of these films that was just a delightful surprise. Like, I thought it looked, we all thought it looked stupid. It looked like, you know, Rock'em Sock'em Robots, the movie. I mean, that's what it looked like to us. But it's engaging, it's endearing, it's got some real emotion to it, and it's fun, and it's exciting, and it's funny, and you know, it's got little Thor. The kid who plays the younger version of Thor in the first Thor movie is Hugh Jackman's son in it. Now, the success caught Disney as surprised as anybody else. I mean, they were just as surprised at how much this film succeeded. It made them a good amount of money. People and audiences and critics liked it. So, yes, the director does say that he's planning on doing a Real Steel 2. We don't have anything like shooting dates or production dates. We don't know when it's actually going to happen. But the director himself does say that he is going to do it. So, you know, at least we've got that to hang our hat on. And I, for one, am super excited about it. Because I think there is more direction you can go with this story. There's more things you can do. And for that reason, many others, yeah, I'm really pumped for it. I can't wait to see it.
And Hugh Jackman was amazing. It was such a nice, heartwarming film to see him in.
Absolutely.
Jeffrey Walker writes, "Hey guys, first off, big fan of the show. You're consistently my favorite source of movie news. Now
Ooh.
to my question. I've heard that Dwayne Johnson may not be able to return for Fast 7 due to scheduling conflicts with him filming Hercules. If this is true, do you think they should recast him or kill his character off? And if they do recast him, how do you think it will affect the next movie in the series?"
This is one of those things where this is weird. The Rock is awesome in the Fast and Furious movies, especially Fast and Furious 6. He was incredible. I mean, the first time he comes on screen, I just had to giggle because the dude is just so huge and massive. Actually, Chrisley, you just saw Fast and Furious 6. What did you think of it?
This was my favorite movie so far this year. I've only loved two of the other Fast and the Furious in the franchise, so I was not totally going to this with open eyes and open arms, and I was so pleasantly surprised. It was one of my favorites out of the whole franchise. I thought it was amazing. I don't necessarily think that a 7 has to have The Rock in it, especially with Jason Statham. I don't think that he's that key of an element. I think he was great in this one, but I wouldn't mind not seeing him in 7.
You know, the funny thing is, I always say this. The character is more important than the actor playing him. Always. But in Fast and the Furious, this character is kind of useless. It's kind of a useless character. I think the character's name is Dobbs. He's just useless, except for the fact that The Rock's there playing him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that. So look, if The Rock can't be there, this isn't like an Iron Man situation where Iron Man is important. The character Tony Stark and Iron Man is important. So, you know, hey, if Robert Downey Jr. doesn't want to do it, okay, get somebody else to play him. This is a different situation because this isn't an important character. Because if it's not The Rock playing him in these films, we wouldn't really care about him at all. The character certainly wouldn't be on the posters if The Rock wasn't playing him. So I just like having The Rock in a movie. So my opinion on this one is, if The Rock can't do it, because I know they are actually having some schedule trouble, but it hasn't been announced that he's not going to be in 7. It's just they're having some trouble. If for whatever reason The Rock cannot do this film, I say then just you don't have to kill the character off because he's not integral. He's not a part of the family that they keep talking about. He's not a part of the family. He's just the cop that it just happens to intersect with them a couple of times. So you don't have to kill him off. You don't have to say anything happened to him. You just don't have him there. You know, it'd be different if you were talking about Paul Walker's character. And Paul Walker couldn't be there because Paul Walker's character is a part of the family. You can't just have him not there and not explain why. And that's an important character, you know, all that kind of stuff. But The Rock, if he can't be there, just don't have the character. You don't need him. So anyway, folks, that'll do it for us. That's all the stuff we got for today for AMC Movie Talk. Thank you so much for joining us. But listen, while I've got you, before you do anything else, stop what you're doing, take a second and click that subscribe button. Become a subscriber to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It'll keep you up to date on everything going on in the world of movie news and, of course, our daily AMC Movie Talk show and our new show, AMC Movie Bag, that we do, or Mailbag, Movie Bag, AMC Mailbag that we do a couple times a week. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/AMC Theaters. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/AMC Theaters. And once again, click that subscribe button. I want to thank, as always, our very lovely host, Miss Chrisley Kennedy. Thanks so much, Chrisley.
Of course, always fun. And keep those comments up, guys. We love reading them.
We do. That reminds me, the most important part of the show is not what we have to say. It's what you have to say. Make sure you jump on down to the comments section and leave your thoughts on any or all of the topics that we cover here today. I guarantee you, I read absolutely every single one of them, and so does Chrisley. So make sure you jump on down there and do that. And once again, click that subscribe button. So until next time, my name is John Campia for AMC Movie News. And until then, bye-bye.